What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Aegis Esports' Thursday night America Shard Tournament. I'm your host, Monte Cristo, and I'm joined by my pal, Absolution. Absol, how we doing today?
I'm doing good.
It's good, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, glad to hear it, my friend. I am doing very well myself. I know we have a couple of super spicy games up on deck for you guys today. We are going to be looking at TKG versus Zenigma Stromboli for our first round. I'm just going to take a second here to pull up the bracket so we can maybe give you guys a bit of an overview of how they're doing.
Thank you, Monty.
Yeah, you're welcome, brother. You're welcome. As far as standings go, TKG is third place in their group. It's group 2, my group as well. And Zenigma Stromboli is second to last, only above Cardinal Rule, who have yet to win a set. So Stromboli really looking to claim the victory today, really looking to make their mark and maybe have a chance at that playoff spot. Whereas TKG really needs to just win this and lock it down, make sure that they're not at risk of getting knocked out of that playoff spot. Should be a really good one.
Tonight we're featuring TKG and Zenigma Stromboli. Did I miss my key line?
Nah, you're good, homie. You're good.
Sorry, I think I jumped ahead. Can we try again?
Yeah, we could try again.
First, can we run it back?
Yeah, go for it. You right. Do it.
No, you can start again. I got lost in the script. My bad.
Okay. Welcome, guys. This is your Aegis Esports Thursday night America's League. I'm Monty, and that's Absol.
Howdy. What's going
Directions on? Directions are
hard. Yeah, they are.
We're gonna take a look at a couple decks here in a second, and I think we have Knives is Victor Shellfolk list. This is reminiscent of Ikado's list that he went 8-1 in the seasonal tournament with. And from the other side, we were going to look at a LeBlanc Darius list. I forget who the player was, though. Aichi. It was Aichi's list. But first, I'm going to start us off by walking us through this list from Knives. It is Ezreal Victor Shellfolk. So this is something that you've probably seen before if you've been playing since Bandle released. Shellfolk obviously being such a powerful card alongside things like Trinket Trade and Autopush for the pranks. Does let you get some random generation stuff. There's also notably a Pharaoh's Financier and a Conchologist in here. And those, of course, do work. The manifest off of those does work with the Shellfolk as well. And then for the top end here, we have something like a Glorious Evolution, which can be super, super powerful. And then just tech options like some Fumes to be able to deal 3 damage. Lots of 3 HP units running around at the moment. Time Trick to help you search for anything that you might need. A 1-up Death Ray, which is very spicy. And, of course, a couple wall-ups just to act as some defense. And then, of course, there's also the stress defense in there to protect your units, keep your Victor alive, keep your Ezreal alive, even reduce some damage in a super pinch. This is a really well-constructed list. I am very eager to hopefully see it up on screen, see what it can do. Victor alongside that Glorious Evo, once leveled, will discount everything in the deck by 2. So this deck can have some absolutely insane power turns, and I can't wait to see how Knives handles it.
Now, I have a question, Monty. If you're an opponent going into this deck, like what type of archetype are you looking to bring to this matchup, you know?
Probably trying to smork them. I want to go aggro, brain on, and just not give them time to get to that Shellfolk turn, not give them time to get to that Glorious Evolution turn. Mid-range archetypes will also work quite well. I imagine that this is probably okay into Pantheon because it's teched with the double stress defense and the double wallop, but a Pantheon list without many bastions, without any blinded mystics, might still struggle to keep up with the value off of Shellfolk. And then, of course, we do have options like the LeBlanc Darius list from the other side from Aichi, which I think would be very, very powerful into this Shellfolk.
Good to know. Good to know for anyone out there potentially in the crowd who's wants to play this deck or might think they run into this deck after what will hopefully be a stunning performance tonight from Knives.
Yeah. And then flip us over to the other side, kindly, Mr. Production Man. Thank you, Hirsch. Aichi's list over here. We do have that LeBlanc Darius list. Absol, why don't you take us through this?
Yeah, this is a very, very awesome idea. It's essentially your Darius Gnar Overwhelm list, but we're splashing in some LeBlanc. After the recent buff, LeBlanc became kind of a crazy card. Getting the Mimic on level up is actually really, really nice because the Mimic is going to just help you generate really big units, essentially, for low mana costs. Excuse me. I apologize, chat. And it's just filled with enough cards to kind of go at a not exactly fast pace, but we're going a bit faster than some other decks. I like the Fallen Reckoner tech here. Fallen Reckoner is preventing your opponent's units from blocking is really strong. It pretty much just kind of gives them dead cards, especially into an Overwhelm list, and it forces them to block with their stronger pieces, which for a lot of decks can actually be kind of a death sentence when you have your opponent playing these big 5, 6 statted units down, and then you have cards like Decisive Maneuver and Battle Fury to help you clutch out the game. Ultimately, I think we're just going to see essentially a smork, right? We're going to be running it. We're going to be running it down. You know, probably like a good pace to jogging it down. It is a bit slower than something like Pirates would be, but it's a very strong list. Overwhelm is an amazing keyword, and I know some people out there in the world are really happy looking at this list.
This is definitely a powerful list. I love that you touched on the Fallen Reckoner and the Decisive Maneuver, because those are the two cards that I feel makes this list quite playable into Pantheon. If their units can't, if their two big units on the board can't block as a result of the Fallen Reckoner, well, you're in a pretty good spot pushing through with the rest of your wide board. As you said, Abso, this list is not quite aggro, but it's definitely not control. It obviously wants to get on the board and just stay there. And Fallen Reckoner can really help you push through that last bit of damage. And of course, the Battle Furies is the top end. Super, super powerful. Sometimes you do see those fired off as early as turn 5. A little bit more rarely with this list, but nonetheless, it does happen. And then, of course, the LeBlanc is the Super Spice coming out since her buffs in the recent patch, giving her a mirror image on the level up. She is going to be able to duplicate the Darius. She's going to be able to duplicate those Ancient Yetis. She's going to be able to duplicate herself and get you lots and lots of value. I'm a little bit disappointed we don't see an 8-drop Rallyman Incisive Tactician in this deck. I was really hoping with the LeBlanc we would be playing for a little bit of that rally fun, but she decided not to. Decided that LeBlanc is just good enough as a way to generate a mirror image and duplicate that Darius. So we'll see what they can do to pilot this correctly and how they can manage it through their games today.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely would have liked to see a bit of a bigger top end here, but I just think it's going into potentially more of a lower to the ground, faster game time approach here from Aichi, which does make some sense. Although I do agree, I think dropping that Mimic on your technically 6 mana, because really ever playing 8 for him, your rally guy there is always a fun time.
Yeah, that about covers it for our deck list today. As far as matchups go, we are going to be following Knives, and they are playing into JanSports. So let me just take a look at these lineups here and see what I have to say about them. Knives is on that Shellfolk list that we saw. They're also running Akshan Sivir and Fizzathelios, as you guys may have seen by now. And then from the other side, JanSports is taking a page out of Jay Sensational's book and has brought Leona Yasuo, Ezreal Kennen, and Mono Viego Shurima SI. Ooh. So these are some interesting matchups here. I don't know what the bans are going to be. These are tough bans to work out.
They definitely are. I mean, Ezreal Kennen has been kind of declining in win rate lately on in terms of its overall stats in the meta. I don't know how well it's going to be performing here in tournament. I've actually yet to see it played in this setting, and it is a totally different setting from ladder. However, looking at the decks that Knives is running, I think the Ezreal Kennen is kind of get eaten alive by most things here. The Mono Viego Shurima is a very strong list, right? Incredibly powerful. I honestly think that's the one you ban away, and you just kind of go into the Yasuo Leona and the Ez Kennen. I think those two are they strike me as lower power lists in comparison, so I feel like it's just kind of an easy pick there.
Yeah, I think that might be the way to do it. Like you said, Ezreal Kennen and Yasuo Leona are just a slight bit below the bar, in my opinion as well. Yasuo Leona has proven to me that it can be quite powerful into Demacia archetypes, so there's a chance JanSports wants to hit that Sivir matchup and wants to just be able to do fun things there. It could be okay into Aphelios depending on how it's teched, but I would imagine that it's just a bit too slow. And then against the combo list of the Shellfolk, I think it's probably all right there. It might be a little bit too slow because it really does want to get to that turn 6 point, at which point the Shellfolk is going to come down and then you're going to have trouble interacting with it. But it might be able to eke out a win there. The Leona stun locking the board could be very, very powerful. Still, as you said, Mono Viego here is quite the powerful list. Really been uh, on everybody's radar since the seasonal last week. It kind of popped up out of nowhere about a week before, and then suddenly everybody was scrimming it. Everybody was throwing it in their lineups. I've seen more of this list in the past 2 weeks than I have since Viego was released, which was ages ago now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and speaking of seasonals, don't forget, guys, this weekend we have the official top 32 of seasonals where you can come and watch my fantasy bracket of players totally clutch up and take spots 1 through 4 of that tournament as I crush and defeat all my opponents who doubted me.
Yeah, super big shout out to Riot for sponsoring these giveaways today, and I hope that everybody does go and tune into the seasonals Top Cut broadcast. They did say that they are working on a way to get us more broadcasts in the future, and I can't wait to see what they have in store. But we should support the one that we have right now, so that way we can send Riot the message that yeah, we do want these. We're grateful for them, even if seasonal was a little bit scuffed this time around. It is what it is. It happens. They are doing their best, and hopefully it'll be corrected for the future. We
Yeah,
are just
absolutely.
waiting on these players to get their bans in. I think if
And
I had to further speculate, Jan Sports is probably going to take out Aphelios, and Knives will. I think I'm going to agree with you, Ab. So I think that Shurima list is going to go.
yeah, I really don't see Aphelios. I think yep, there's the Aphelios ban. I think it's just too strong as a
Hmm.
list. There's too many things for Jan Sports to have to think about when you're going in there. And
Very.
goes for
Oh,
Ez Kennen. That's an interesting ban. Maybe that's it could just be a personal thing, right? I know some players have unique matchups. Maybe Knives has a lot of experience into that Viego matchup and just kind of is like, I can handle this. I'm not super worried.
Ez Kennen does give you a very, very easy and reliable way of knocking off spell shields, so it could be a
Yes.
liability for Sivir. Um, it also gives you lots of stuns, which could be a liability for any get excited. Sorry, not get excited. Glorious Evolution turn that the Shell Folk deck might be looking to pop off. So I can rationalize the ban. I think it makes some sense. As you said, it could also just be a personal thing. But with these decks, sometimes when you see unplayed decks, you just kind of ban the one that you're least comfortable against, the one that
Mm.
you think you don't really know what it's trying to do. You don't really know how to maneuver it. And I think that's a perfectly reasonable strategy. So we'll see what Knives can do to navigate their way to a win against this Mono Viego and the Yasuo Leona deck that Jansports has brought. And we'll see if Jansports can counter Knives' plays and come up with some of their own to find themselves a victory against Knives.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch, especially Sivir Akshan being one of my personal, probably I think most played decks, along with Viego anything. So it's going to be very fun to watch. Good to see some. It's always nice to see top level play, especially as you get to these later parts of the season when you're like, okay, let's get that last minute climb going. Um, yeah, and I mean, Sivir Akshan has always been a great deck. It's always been strong. I don't think it's ever been weak. It's just just come and gone in different variations. Even after like major nerfs to the deck's original game plan, it still remained fairly powerful and has actually managed to slot in some of the old cards again, like Ruin Runner. So I think things are going really crazy.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised to see the rise of Akshan Sivir this week. I've heard a couple people saying that it's pretty good, but in my experience, it's been very poorly positioned at the moment, and I'm not a huge fan of it. But I'll hold my tongue because we're getting into game, and we do see the
Yes, we
mulligan
are.
coming out.
That's Akshan Sivir into Viego Shrima. This is a really interesting uh, uh, and kind of fun matchup here, right? Akshan Sivir prides itself on killing your units, and that's how it controls the game and the pace of the game. And Viego is a deck that's kind of more than happy to let you do that. It's like sure thing. Go ahead. You can pick off this unit and that unit. I have plenty of ways to protect Viego in my stack of 40 cards here. Um, and honestly, normally until like turn 7, your Viego's not really flipping anyway. Once you drop that Hydra Vine, is when things starts to get going. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here. We do see Knives with a very good aggro hand.
Players have actually started this game with a phenomenal opener. Jansports has their Viego, has some Merciless Hunters, has some Hourglass to protect it, as well as this Camivorn Soldier to make it a little bit beefier off the start. And like you said, Knives has a very aggressive early hand here that they can put to great use and hopefully start chipping down at Jansports' HP.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I like this swing here with the 3-3, right? You just kind of know that your opponent really, like, they're going to either, trade with the 2-1 or get rid of the broadwing, which either way, you're keeping your unit or you're making a really good trade. So just a very solid swing there.
I agree with the 3-3 swing, but the 1-1 swing does not make a lot of sense to me. It does just let that action get an attack off, get a block off, and Knives is pretty happy doing that.
Mm.
It makes him a little bit weak to a Vile Feast, but you're not too threatened by that. Worst case, you do jam that Absolver, but I don't know. I think just letting your opponent accelerate this Palace here is not the best idea.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the sooner that Palace goes off, the better. Especially, with the Vagabond in hand, it's really good. Granted, though, we do see Jansports does have a decent block into that auction, unless Knives decides to spend Quicksand, which is a very, I feel, vital resource in this sort of matchup, especially with his hand where he doesn't have a lot of ways to interact with his opponent's board and protect his stuff.
Knives has been holding that 1 point of spell mana this whole game, though, and that can be a pretty good Shapestone bluff. There was a bit of a tell when we didn't see the Akshan attack come through on turn 2, so maybe Knives will read into that, but I imagine with this happening, with the 4-2 coming down and marking the Akshan, that we will see a full swing here. Just accelerate that countdown a little bit further. And actually, I'm wrong.
Nope. Yep. It's going to be the 1 swing. Yeah, I mean, I respect it. It does kind of give away some information. It's like, hey, I don't have anything I'm willing to spend for this auction right now. However, Jansport doesn't have the hand to take advantage of that, so it's good for Knives. Lucky for Knives, I should say, because that could have been an easy Vile Feast to get rid of the auction in that one moment.
Yeah, but now Knives has an opportunity to maybe go for a Cataclysm on this Viego if they want. We'll see if they decide to do it, or if they're just going to play it safe. Actually, just going to go ahead and make a Charger here. Might go after the Viego with this instead of the Sivir.
I think that makes sense to do there. Just it's a it's a free unit, right? You can potentially use this to pressure your opponent to swinging. No protection for the auction. Interesting. I mean, I guess it's gonna flip, but I imagine you'd potentially try to keep it alive for that Palace. Who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely a consideration, but you locked yourself into this Cataclysm line now, I think.
That is true. That is true.
And actually, with that trade coming out, the Viego is now too big to be threatened by the Cataclysm alone. Knives is going to go after it nonetheless. We'll see if they decide to commit the Absolver as well. That seems like a major mistake from
yeah. Yeah, I mean, just even threatening the Cataclysm there and then putting it back in hand is a tell, right? You just give your opponent the information like, hey, I have some way to interact with you, and if you're playing into Sivir Akshan, my mind's jumping. Okay, that's a concerted strike. That's could potentially most likely some sort of concerted strike because my Viego is so big, or it could even be a Cataclysm, right? That like something that's gonna kill that Viego or threaten that Viego, I should say. So that's big information to give up, especially into a deck like this, which is so focused on one champion.
And a great top deck by Jansports. Finding that Vile Feast is going to mean that this Viego is pretty much always safe, even from the Sivir. Knives could have gone for the +1 buff and gone after it very aggressively with that Cataclysm, but instead just decided to dig a little bit further, skips that predict, and ends up finding another Sivir. Not exactly what you want to be seeing here.
Definitely not. Especially at this point in the game where you're not even close to really, not really, your opponent's not at low HP, so really the Boomerang Blade is doing very little for you other than potentially giving you another Sivir if the first one dies.
That spell shield is going to be popped now. Knives might just want to give up this Sivir at this point. Might just be okay ramming it into the Viego and the rest of this board. This full swing coming out, though, a little bit questionable in my eyes. You really do want to be slowing this Viego's level up as much as possible. And if this goes through, does Knives just hit okay? That is the real question.
I'm not sure. I mean, really, what is Knives going to do here that's going to... I mean, you could potentially drop the Quicksand on the 2 units to hit their power hit 0. You get no progress for Viego. You get board advantage off of that. But is that really the best time to use that card when there's so many other situations where, but then Jansport drops the Quicksand back, which is pretty strong. Just kind of ruins the entire swing there. I think you just hit okay there. Oh, goes to the Absolver.
And Quicksand in return really wants to keep this Sivir alive, and I think this. I'm gonna go ahead and call this a mistake, Cap. So we have
Yeah,
a
I
second Sivir
completely
that's
agree.
just sitting dead in hand. We may as well just get one back, like with spell shield, make it a problem for Jansports to remove again.
Exactly. I think if you're gonna drop the quicksand there, you let your board die. You remove the 2 units that are already in play from counting for that Viego level up, and you just keep it pushing. Replay Sivir. Then you can set up things like your Bruiser there, who is a incredibly strong card. It's gonna guarantee you buffs, which is really good all around.
And those draws, perhaps not what Jansports wants to be
No,
seeing.
definitely not. The predict is nice, but ultimately there's you kind of don't want the right of calling when you have Viego in hand, especially when you have 2 Viegos in hand, is a bit of a dead draw.
This is tragic, though. Knives is just going to go ahead and lose the second Sivir to
Yep.
the Vile Feast off the top yet again. Jansports will likely commit the Viego's Despair here. I see no reason to hold it. Not
Yeah,
really at
I
risk of
agree.
dying or anything. Actually,
Oh,
just
but this
decides
gets
to
the
play it
pass one.
slow.
Ooh, and there's a concern. That's what you want to see there. Hopefully, Knives doesn't drop that concern strike just yet. Plays it a bit safe. Yeah, I would say go for the Cataclysm there. See what the response is. See if your opponent tries to fish for Viego again. But that concerted strike is a really strong tool to have in this matchup.
And now Jansports can go for the Hourglass here if they want, and did opt to do that. I imagine now we will see the Concerted Strike come out on top. Could potentially hold it for a second Viego if one comes down, but I don't know. Oh, looks like
Let's
they
it
did
fizzle.
opt to hold.
That's it, fizzle. Interesting choice there. I'm not gonna complain about it. I think it's still a pretty strong choice. I mean, yeah, you got to concerted strike that. You can't let your opponent have 2 Viegos on board.
Yeah, we were a little bit weak to a right of negation before, but now we're kind of forced. Our hand is. We don't really have any other options, so it's got to come out here.
And there is the other Camivore Soldier. And the swing here is nice, right? You force your opponent in a situation where they have to block with Viego in the Hourglass. So they do end up losing out on some of that crucial development. Going in with the 4/4 Encroaching Mist. I don't. Oh, that's true. That wouldn't be the first ally that died that round if you. Potentially could have been. No, because the mist pops before the Hourglass goes off. Okay. I had to just work out the priority in my head for a second.
It's all good. Yeah, the attack from the 3/3 is again a little bit sus to me because now we're staring this Viego in the face, and Jansports can attack with it if they want.
Yeah. It's
Probably
very
pretty
cool.
okay to make the trade. Like you have another one, you have 2 more that you can find. There's a Rite of
Ooh, there
Negation.
it
That's a
is.
good
Very
pickup.
good.
Yeah,
Absolutely one of the best cards you
ra-
can see there.
rally not a problem at all from this point onwards. Yeah, this Merciless Hunter's going to come down onto the Viego, but how much do you care? There's a Despair for the Sivir now.
Not much, I think. I mean, you killed the Sivir here. You have the 5/5. You don't really even have to swing this turn. You can always just kind of chill. It is your attack turn, so you can swing if you'd like. Your opponent doesn't have to block, right? If I'm Knives, I'm thinking to myself like, I'm not sure I really want to block. I'd rather go into the next turn and get that Viego, and just open attack and pull him. Especially with only 2 cards in hand on the side of Jansports here. I do like this swing though, right? Try to see if they'll block. You know, maybe they want to put the Bruiser in for stats, but respectable from Knives to not take that bait.
I think you're supposed to block with the Bruiser there, right? This Viego's already seen. Oh, is the Viego about to flip? Maybe.
Potentially, I know it's definitely close. I haven't been keeping strict track, but it's been out for long enough to where it's safe to assume that it's very close to flipping.
Oh, and that's third Sivir.
Ooh, that's
Knives has
really
a
good.
chance.
Yeah, that definitely just flips the entire pace of the game. That kills that Viego outright. It's dead. Oh, but no way. With the Vengeance draw is good here, but with no way to pop the spell shield, it's pretty much gonna not the best.
Yeah, definitely
Puts
not
the
the
Sivir
best.
in front. Interesting.
Yeah, no reason to put her in the back. You do want this Viego dying immediately. Now, so here's the thing with that last swing. If the 3/3 levels the Viego, you obviously don't take the block. But if the
Hmm.
Viego's not leveling off of that 3/3, he's already seen something die this round and therefore doesn't have a mist. And if Viego doesn't have a mist automatically generating next turn, removing the blocker is only going to make your attack
Hmm.
better for one, And two, it's going to guarantee that there's nothing to start a chain on the following
Yeah.
turn, so that way the Viego can level up. And that's
Yeah, no,
really
for
where
sure.
things get scary.
I definitely agree there. Oh, and that's the GG there. Unfortunately, without anything, and really just the hand kind of died out at the end, and that's the way that the cookie crumbles there with the cards, man.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of mismanagement of resources from the side of Jansports and a little bit of luck from the side of Knives there to find that third Sivir exactly when they needed it.
Oh, that's
I
the
think
servicer was so strong.
Jansports probably just needed to be a little bit more aggressive with those Rite of Callings, be able to pull those vehicles out of the deck, and then
Mhm.
hopefully hit something a little bit better off of those, off the two glimpses that they cast. Unfortunately, they found more Rite of Callings. They found only predicts. Those
Yeah,
predicts didn't really hit
I
anything of
agree.
value, and they just weren't able to find the pieces that they needed to keep their Viego alive long enough to get the flip off. And without that, Viego kind of falls apart.
Yeah, especially if you don't hit Hydrovine during your game. Well,
True.
we're going to our next match here.
And it's Shellfolk versus Yasuo Leona.
It's gonna be interesting. I have very little experience with the Yasuo Leona deck, so it's gonna be interesting to see it played at this high level. I know a lot of people talk about it. Knives taking a hand of all spells. Luckily hits the con chair, which is nice. But Jansport's also with a slow hand. This is interesting.
Yeah, I think Jansports is pretty happy with the way this hand shook out. You do have
For
that
sure.
Solari Priestess now, and that's going to give you a ton of value. Knives also probably pretty happy to take this a little bit slow. Would ideally like to have a champion or two, but here we do see the options. Golden Sister, Traveler, Warrior. I think it's got to be a Traveler. The
Yeah.
Warrior can be very good at helping you go after something like a Victor, like an Ezreal, but Traveler is just going to give you more value and more value and more value. And you know, just getting more looks at this point is probably a good shout.
Yeah,
Jansports
for
agrees
sure.
with us and picked it up.
A lot of players will just take those preemptively and say, well, if my opponent plays this, then this is the good pick. But ultimately, you have to realize that it's a game of cards, right? Your opponent cannot have that card. And so while you do want to be thinking those couple turns ahead, sometimes it's best to just go, this is the card that helps me right now, so I'm going to take this pick over, say, Three Sisters, which is really only good when you're at low health or when you're that you have that like something that can benefit off of like a Zoe that can put the elusive on your whole board, or a warrior, which is just basically a removal spell.
Yeah, the Warrior is not a bad choice there at all. But the thing with the Warrior, it's one of the few Celestials that isn't really worth its mana. Like every other Celestial card is going to give you pretty much on rate stats
Mhm.
plus a bonus. The Warrior is pretty much just an on rate card. It 5/5 for 5 with Challenger. It's a little bit better than average, but not significantly so. So I think I would be perfectly happy to take the Traveler and get another look. And Knives
Yeah.
agreed, as we already said. Yasuo comes down now, and Thermo Beam was picked up just in time.
Yep, that's a dead Yasuo. Which,
Fortunately, no deny from the side of Jansports here, but
however,
the second Yasuo was top
yeah,
deck.
does get that second Yasuo, which is nice to see, especially because Yasuo decks tend to crumble and you don't have Yasuo out, so it's
And
definitely good to have that redundancy.
that was the one and only Thermo Beam from the side of Knives.
Yes,
Nothing
and
else left in the deck.
that also
Now,
does say a lot, right? Because it's if you're hand reading your opponent, they're grabbing the thermal beam from the card they just drew, so that does give you a bit of info about what they could potentially have. But then we hit the deny off the top deck anyway, which is really nice.
yeah, it feels bad from the side of Jansports, though you really wish you had that on the previous turn.
Mm-hmm.
Pokestick goes off. Wallop found. That's a good pickup here, too.
Goes for the
And now the
Ravoon.
Ravoon.
Oh, so strong. It's a great engine piece here. It just guarantees you day breaks all the time, which you love to have.
Such a beefy unit, too. This is going to be
Oh yeah,
very hard for Knives to remove. Going to have to fire off multiple Mystic shots. But at this point, Knives might not even care about removal. There's so many burst speed spells in the hand, and this Ezreal is coming up on the flip.
yeah. And I mean, even if like just from the side of Jansports here, right? Like we do see a big problem of these P and Z Vandal decks, which is they can't remove big units, and Jansports' hand is full of big units. We get the Leona here, and she's gonna level up. I didn't even know we hit 4 daybreaks here, but that's gonna be very very good to have out when you have the Ravoon, and that's two different units that require removal, with really large stat lines that P and Z has a hard time getting through.
There's the Ezreal flip.
Ooh, that's so good though.
Yeah, now Ezreal's going to get stunned.
We just got
And
word that gotcha. Did that come through on stream?
No, it didn't. So
Okay.
what we're discussing here is amongst ourselves, amongst the production crew, is that version has taken their set against I'd Sheet the Red Panda to 1-1.
Ooh, nice.
Transmogulator,
Oh,
interesting
that's a
pickup.
very fun card to have. Um,
Be
especially
very
into a
powerful
deck that's
here.
invoking. Yes, absolutely.
You can transform some of these chumpy Otterpuss into a big Eclipse Dragon.
Yup.
Yeah, Knives sees it. Knives likes it. I'm a big fan. It also will remove stun, I believe. I don't think the stun keyword will carry over if you transform it into one of your
That's
units.
interesting. It does make it into an exact copy. So if your unit is stun is technically a keyword. So that is a very good point you bring up there.
We'll see what ends up happening here. I imagine the block goes out on the 5-3. The wallop might
Yep.
even come down on the Leona.
Yep, I like this. You just got to kind of conserve your health here while you're fishing for the shell folk. Even then, right? Ezreal is still spitting out damage.
Yeah, this Ezreal is going to transform all of these one-cost burst spells and focus speed spells into 1 damage onto the enemy nexus at burst speed.
And since we have the manifest cards here, we're making honor places, which are making pranks. We're just kind of turning that into even more damage.
Tons of options from the side of Knives for this turn.
You,
Another manifest going to come out. True
ooh,
Shot Barrage, Glorious Evo, Assembly Line.
I
Knowing that your opponent has Deny, you almost never take the Evo here, but the
yeah,
Assembly Line could be pretty good to have some blockers.
very good card. I mean, 6 mana for 2/3/3s that are permanent is really nice.
I'm a little bit surprised we didn't see an open attack come out from the Ezreal just to
And I'm also
generate a
surprised we
Mystic
haven't
Shot.
seen a Yasuo come down yet either. I mean, we're dropping all of our stuns here. I feel like the Yasuo is a good play. Always manifested a rainbow fish. That's really good, especially with the hex second hand. If our opponent plays a big unit, we're gonna rainbow fish it.
Yeah, that's really funny, actually. That's a really funny play.
Yeah,
I wonder if you have a Rainbow Fish on a unit and then you use the Transmogrifier,
I think the rainbow fish would stay on it because it just
right?
transforms the unit you're targeting, and then the
Yeah,
rainbow fish is attached to that unit. That's a weird interaction. I hope we see it and that it doesn't break the game. 'Cause
it's
I think that
really
would be
funny
really funny.
interaction. Lightning Rush, pretty good
Ooh,
pickup
yeah,
here.
that's
Coral
really
Cannon,
good there.
also not bad just to stay wide. I imagine we're going to take the Lightning Rush, though, just to
Yep.
be able to keep this Ezreal super, super safe. It is our main win condition from this point.
Especially because this Yasuo is leveled up now, so we're gonna start seeing 5 damage strikes off of each stun, which is just removal. Granted, not a lot of stuns left though, outside of popping daybreaks with Leona. Like the scattered pod goes for the hush. That's a pretty good pull here, especially as you get into those lower HP turns when you have an Ezreal on board.
Got put pretty neat in this archetype.
Oh, grabs the morning light. Sorry, there's
Yeah,
a bit of a delay with the draw.
I was gonna say I would imagine it's in there to do exactly this. You main deck the Morning Light, you have it as your only slow speed spell, and then well, now this Leona is gonna board lock
Yeah,
Knives, and Knives is staring down a lot of damage.
not
Has
even
to
board lock. It's a board wipe.
Yeah, that's true because the Yasuo is online as well.
Well, okay, snatches up this with the Hextech here on the Ravoon. Interesting pick. That morning light's gonna come down for sure here.
Well, the Morning Light is no longer Daybreak, so it's not going to go ahead and activate all the other
Oh, that's
Daybreak
true. That's
effects.
true. That's true. That's
But
right.
it was a good option from
I
very
thought
heads
it
up by
was.
Knives to take that off the field.
Yeah, I misread the transform there. I thought Knives was taking the Ravoon, not turning it into the con. That's definitely a strong play there.
Gonna go down to 5 HP though.
That is not a lot. Granted, Ionia Targon, not a removal heavy region, if any at all, or a burn heavy region, I should say. So that low HP is less important than in something like a PNZ matchup,
Mhm.
especially when you have a hand like Knives has for this type of matchup. Hopefully, Knives can sneak in that damage here and just snatch up a victory.
And this will be the stress defense coming out most likely onto the Yasuo.
Yeah, that would definitely be a good play there. Target the enemy, ping 2. And do we have lethal in hand? We have 2 damage from elusive, 2 from the Ezreal, but it does get actually you kind I if no Knives doesn't know about the hush, but Rainbow Fish I believe does not care about silence, right? Rainbow Fish will keep it elusive through the silence.
Yes,
Or
it
did
will.
they?
The open
Yeah.
attack would do it if not for the hush and the scattered pod. There's a scattered pod on the board now.
Yeah, that's scary. But I think we have enough targeted spells here to deal lethal. Do we not? We have what, two, four?
With
Oh,
that
that's
mystic shot, we
yep.
almost certainly do.
That's definitely it there.
Yeah, that'll do it. Mystic shot goes face. That's 3. Lightning rush goes face. That's 3.
And yeah, that's gonna be a clean Ezreal playcast change. GG.
And yeah, the Sump Fumes has to come out as well. And this should do it. And Version has taken their set 2-1 against Aichi, so TKG is up in this series. And actually, Absol, I'm wrong. We're off by a little bit here. This deny has to come out onto the Mystic Shot.
Yes, it does. Which will put them at what, 5?
Let's stay at 3.
At 3.
But then if the Hush doesn't come out immediately, Hush has to come out on the stack here as well. While
Yeah.
JanSports has the action. If they don't opt for that Hush, they are just going to go ahead and lose to this Lightning Rush because there's no other way to deal with it.
Yeah, for sure. The question is, does JanSports think that there's another targeted spell in that hand? It's a real question. They have to kind of make this call here. And then
could be second Ezreal, could be Lightning Rush, it could be something picked up, could
Stack
be
resolves.
so many options to do it here. And the Lightning Rush is going to seal the deal. Will Knives see it?
Goes for the open.
Oh no.
Oh, why would the Lightning Rush was so good there?
The Lightning Rush was, it only loses to deny.
I think we see the stress defense. It has to come down here.
Yeah, it does actually have to be the stress defense at this point. You got to save your unit.
Absolutely. I respect the idea from Knives, which is Knives doesn't know there's a Hush in that hand, right? So I mean, I guess they're thinking, I swing, you block, I think, right? I can then use the cannon spell to kill you. The swing is the lower commitment play in a way because it doesn't cost any mana. But that Morning Light doesn't. I don't think that matters here though because the Hush is already burnt.
Yeah, this should do it.
Yep, and I like
just off of the Ezreal triggers.
Yeah, I like dropping all the spells at once just to ensure that the Ezreal does the damage and there's no chance for your opponent to react. And Knives takes it 2-0 over JanSports there. Yeah,
TKG?
Ez Kennen coming in, or that wasn't Ez Kennen, that was Ezreal Victor Shuffle. Ezreal coming in clutch.
That was a super clutch Ezreal game for sure. Ezreal really carried the back of that one. Being able to lethal at burst speed like that was super important. Knives, of course, was a little bit lucky yet again, finding the exact answers they needed in that second stress defense. I believe that was the draw for that turn too. So, still some very well played Legends of Runeterra from Knives' side. Had to navigate themselves into a position where their little bit of luck could help them find that victory, and it was definitely an exciting series to watch. That does seal the deal for TKG though. TKG is up 2-0 against Stromboli, and Starset, the last player on TKG, is down 0-1, I believe. So we might have one more game for you guys.
Yes. We're gonna get that set up for you guys right now, but I want to talk about what we saw in that game there with Ezreal specifically, because Ezreal is in a bit of a weird spot. I personally feel where like the playcast change didn't make him broken, but it definitely put him at a power level, which is, it feels like he should have been at, if that makes sense, right? Like he kind of feels like I don't know, it feels right to have him burst speed lethaling people, and we really saw it come into play there where it does let you kind of just turn the tide of your games, and I think that's ultimately what Riot wanted with that change. As we jump into our next game, is Talia Ziggs versus Scouts. This is an interesting matchup here.
Yeah, this is a matchup that I would say is about 50-50. It is very skill-based. Looks like Ryan is not in the best spot here. Not on the worst spot either. But,
I like this hand. I think Ryan needs to snap that right onto that, was that Quinn?
Yeah. Has to go for the Talia first, though. Almost certainly. Actually going to go for a proactive Hourglass play to get some more units on the board. This is a good setup as well. With triple Hourglass in the hand, you do have to make use of it at some point. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough from his side here. It looks like Starset has set up a wide enough board. With that for Demacia now found as well. Going to be in a very, very good position to run away with this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, especially now we get the Valor as well. Just gonna be a huge open attack coming in on the side of Starset into a board that essentially does not care. However, this is a level Talia swinging, right? That's, either you take 10, you're losing it, and blocks with the Broadwing.
Honestly, I'm pretty happy taking 10 there. There's no Ziggs in
Yeah,
sight.
yeah.
I don't think we
I
need
think
to
I'm
give
just
up the
taking
Broadwing.
it.
Yeah, I don't mind the block, but if I was gonna block, I would block with a 3/3 at the very least, keep my challenger up. And that's an MF found. Things just got
But I
even better for
don't think it's
Starset.
leveled.
It's not. It's not.
Okay,
But
good.
it is gonna help them trim down this board.
Yeah, for sure.
The 2-1 can go after the 5/3s without much risk of anything. Unfortunately, the timing is just a little bit off for the MF plus Cythria turn, but I think the 4 Demacia is going to do just enough.
I develops the barrier onto the Valor here. Again, I'd really like to see Ryan pop this Quinn as soon as possible, because is she flipped?
She's not. She's not
Okay,
flipped.
okay. Goes for the Roiling Sands, gets the draw. Burst speed, always nice to have. Just try to find something. We'll see.
Aggressively going after the Quinn like that can be good, but there's a lot of ways for scouts to punish. And is really, really good on turns where you want to pressure their mana. But I don't think this is one of those turns looks like Ryan is going to go for it. Mostly, I'm going to assume because they found nothing else.
Oof.
And Ryan knows that's
yeah,
GG. The
they
Fort
hit
Demacia is going to come out.
The other
Nothing
there.
he can do about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the game.
Valor's going to go after these 5/3s one at a time, and Ryan's just going to go ahead and hit the FF, knowing that it's game over.
I mean, he's still, the thing is, Ryan does have the one game up, right? And your opponent just lost scouts. You get to play Ziggslee again, which Ziggslee has been performing very well lately. So it's going to be interesting to see what other deck Ryan Starset is running here. It looks like, I don't know what the first game one
My guess, it's Akshan Sivir that was left up.
Gotcha.
I think it's probably pretty unlikely that we let Pantheon through with the. Oh, maybe we did. Maybe Ryan felt comfortable enough in the Ziggs Talia versus Pantheon matchup.
If you're running enough aggro, I think that it's what Ziggs Talia, Aphelios, and their own Yuumi Pantheon deck.
Yeah. I still don't think it's the best idea to leave it up.
I'm gonna ban it.
Yeah, but it's possible that he decided to. And we'll find out in just a second here. It is the Sivir Akshan.
Yes. However,
I think this is a pretty good matchup for Ziggs Talia, actually.
Yeah, especially with that kind of opener where you're like, where Ryan has enough early game units here to set up a bunch of landmarks proactively, right? You want to get those landmarks down in the early turns. What are the key parts of playing the deck? So
is only on the one Hexplosive Minefield, though, and that could be a big game changer.
That is definitely a huge piece of information. Let me actually pull up this list here from.
I really don't know how I feel about this turn 1/2/1. The thing with this deck is that playing this 2/1 on turn 1 is bait more often than not, because it doesn't leave you with a landmark to prop with your naturalist on turn 4. It also doesn't set you up nicely for Rite of the Arcane on turn 4. And yeah, we have the curve, but how valuable is that curve right now? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and that Rock Hopper into a hand that is running a Waking Sands is a little sketch, especially when it's not your offensive swing. It's essentially just giving up one of the better pieces you have to deny your opponent a development on, say, turn 3 or 4, especially into Akshan Sivir, where they want to put that Sivir down, and if you can just give her vulnerable through her spell shield, she's essentially not dead, but your opponent now has to commit a lot of mana to keeping her alive.
Ryan does still have the option to go after that with this Roiling Sands. It would set him back a turn on the Endless Devout, but I think it's the correct play in this spot.
Goes for the
Devout comes down instead.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go for the aggressive plays.
Pushing 5 is very good. Pretty happy to push 5.
Yeah, with Starset's kind of hand, this definitely, if you're seeing it, it's a very good development, because you're like, oh, you can't block, you're taking 5, good. But without the information, I do like the Roiling Sands here, but I feel like Ryan is accepting that into this matchup, he's got to be the aggressive deck. Yeah, but it does miss out on that Sivir.
I don't know. It's such a tight spot It's
Yeah,
such a tight spot because this Roiling Sands is really going to accelerate your Talia as well. You're going to have the opportunity to play the Devout
very true.
into the Sivir here. Yeah, you're missing a little bit of damage, but this does line you up better for the Preservarium into Talia curve, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's such a good curve. It gives you so much draw. It really is going to set Ryan up nicely. Now we'll see if he opts to block with the 3-3 and put another landmark on the board, or if he decides to just take this yet again. I don't think you can
Is
take
at
this.
what, 3 out of 5? So I think you do block with the 3-3 to put her at 4. So that which nope. All right, we're gonna block with the 2-1. Um, yeah, interesting there. I'm definitely I'm not sure. I guess it's just a cheap blocker that you're okay with throwing away. Uh,
Yeah, you're not at risk of losing to an Absolver or anything like that. So I don't hate the chump block. I just find that a lot of the time I personally get baited into leaving this endless devout up a little bit too
yeah,
often.
people
And
aren't
then
really gonna block it if they don't have to.
yeah. And then it's just stuck there. And I don't have landmarks to level my champions and I don't feel good about it. And it's just a really bad time for everybody involved.
Yeah,
Here
it's
we
not.
may actually see the play change. We didn't see the rock hopper off the top, and that certainly changes the play. But
Yeah,
even without that, we could have gone for the Roiling Sands into the Ziggs and then tried to duplicate the Ziggs on our following turn.
yeah. With the ancient hourglass double Ziggs is very good. I definitely like. Probably gonna develop the Ziggs here because Ziggs is just incredibly strong. Um, and have we blown up 4 landmarks yet?
After this Preservarium, we should be there. I
Okay,
think.
cool.
I think.
Yeah, I really like the Ziggs play, especially. It's just good to have it out once you start getting these ticks. Then those Roiling Sands get really scary in these later turns where your opponent's gonna the Civ right. Starset hasn't really been playing units, so most likely they're gonna be drawing into units now, wanting
Mhm.
to develop board, set up a big board for Sivir, and try to get her leveled up. And if you can get that Roiling Sands down, that's just gonna essentially be free Mystic shots you're getting off that Ziggs being out.
Yeah, especially if we do get the opportunity to duplicate the Ziggs. And
Oh
then we're
yeah,
looking
that's
at double
gross.
Mystic Shot, like
Free
4 damage a
decimates,
turn.
dude.
It's crazy. It's duplicating your champions is so powerful in this deck, and it's one
Oh
of
yeah.
the main ways it wins. Here we are going to see Starset make the trade. Will they opt to keep this alive with the sharp sight as well?
I'm not sure if you really want to. I think you're
Yeah.
okay with trading out. It's a little, honestly, like we're a little late into the auction here.
Mhm.
You do want to kind of see it earlier. If you can get it set up earlier and get it, to a position where your opponent is spending cards to remove it and you're protecting it, I think it's better. But once you get to these later turns, 5, 6, he's essentially just a unit in your deck that spawns you a really good landmark.
Yep, absolutely. And Ryan is going to go ahead and play the Ziggs. This is going to be met with a Merciless Hunter from the side of Starset.
Yep, and probably into an open attack, but it does give Ryan a way to use that hourglass reactively, which is kind of the way you want to use it. It'll definitely shut down Starset's almost, I think, their entire turn, really, if they open attack here.
It does force Starset to go for the Concerted Strike, which the Hourglass is going to lose to. But it does use up their entire turn, as you said. Second Hourglass,
Oh, it
though.
doesn't matter anymore. That's really good. I mean, yeah, you're if you're in Ryan's position here, you're chilling. You're living a good life. I Yeah, let's see if Starset takes that open or if they decide to wait.
Oh, they played the Bruiser. This is going to work out
Bruiser.
so nicely for Ryan. Doesn't even have
Yeah.
to commit the Hourglass. Can go for that single Hourglass into Talia play here. And that's probably going to close out the game for Ryan.
Yep,
I
that
can't
is
see
going to be
anything
it.
that Starset can do. 2 Ziggs are going to flip. They're going to deal 2 damage each off of each landmark. So that's a ton of, I think that's 8 damage total. Just off of the Ziggs coming back out. Not to mention, it's then going to deal another 2 on the attack, plus the Talia's attacking, plus we picked up an Absolver,
Yep.
and we have these 2 Roiling Sands in hand. This is
That's a
up.
fact game. You slap the Absolver on the Talia and you watch as your opponent takes like an insane amount of damage in one turn. This is actually one of my favorite decks. I think I actually would say my favorite deck to come out of the entire Shurima expansion this was Bandle. The entire Bandle City expansion would be this one for
Yeah, I'm a
sure.
big fan of it
Great
as
time.
well. It took me a
Oh no,
while to
that's
warm
canon.
up to it. I
Second.
really didn't like it last season, couple patches ago, but what's it the meta shifted a little bit. We got a couple more cards for it. It started
Yep.
to feel a lot better, and I've become a big fan. It's been one of my most played decks this season. I took it to the seasonals myself. Once again, huge shout out to Riot Games. Be sure to type !giveaway in the chat for your chance to win 500 Riot coins.
Yes,
Thank you to them. Make sure everybody tunes into the seasonal broadcast on Saturday to show their support. Let Riot know that we do want these. We do love these.
These new Runeterra champions coming out. If you don't have resources to craft these new Runeterra champions and their card sets, you want those 500 coins, because I'm telling you right now, they are going to shift the meta of this game drastically. Jhin already, when he levels up, is dropping a decimate for free every other turn. So like, just as a frame of reference, you guys. So definitely hit that giveaway, and big ups to Riot for not only sponsoring this event. Would it be considered a sponsorship? Promoting the event, supporting the event. Big ups to Riot for supporting the event, and absolutely big ups to them for taking such a big risk with the game.
Oh, Starset just went ahead and FF'd. I think they may have actually had an opportunity to go after the champions and like maybe survive one more turn. I think so. But with that second hourglass and our caster vision, we know that it's just over. So saving their mental from further damage, and that's a heads up play a lot of the time. There is another set to be played out, and going into it with a good bit of tilt is not the way you want to start round 2.
Not good at all. And speaking of round 2, we are covering who in our second round here?
It is going to be NA Farmers versus Omega Gaming Aggro Tempo. Correct. And we do actually have the results of one of the matches in that series already. Ali Caesar did go 2-1 against Karanol earlier. Ali, being from EU, rescheduled their match up, played it out already, and had a pretty good showing, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like a fantastic showing.
And actually, I am just getting word that we're going to be following Drizoth versus Ace, which should be a fantastic matchup to watch. Drizoth and Ace, both really, really strong players. Ace, also from EU, like Ali, like Drizoth's teammate. But Drizoth, one of NA's finest.
Sorry, I'm looking for Drizoth's name on the spreadsheet here. I'm blind.
They are Group 1, I believe. No, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
They're not Group 2, they're Group 3. They're in Group 3. Okay, cool. And Drizoth has brought us
Phalios, Echo Zillion, and Jace Heimer. That's a deck I like to see.
It's SI Jace, which is where you want to be, I think. And notably, none of the Pharaohs, not the Pharaohs Financier, the Albus Pharaohs, the 7-drop that does try to end the game.
Don't blame him. I think that card kind of sucks, to be honest.
Really? I think that card's really powerful. I don't think it necessarily fits in this Heimer version, but as a one-up just to tutor your Jace, it's not a bad call in my mind. And then from the other side of that matchup, we're looking at Ace. Ace is on MFGP, Lulu Jinx, and Ezreal Heimerdinger Vi.
Ooh.
And I would imagine that is the Bandle City Ezreal list that Broken Ball, one of Drizoth's teammates actually, was so fond of at the start of this patch.
Interesting.
That is featuring 3 treasure trash. 3 treasure trash. We're gonna get to see
2 Electro Harpoon. So like, that's kind of wild, to be honest. That card never sees play.
Yeah, it really doesn't. And then the Pirates list is a pretty standard one. Does have that Make It Rain, does have double up in it, but nothing too out of the ordinary there. And the Lulu Jinx is Ionia, for those of you that might have been wondering. But I think we'll leave you guys there. And with that, remember, once again, to hit !giveaway in the chat for your chance to win the $500 Riot coins. And also, I did forget to shout out to Runeterra AR for providing us with these lovely stream graphics at the start when we're doing these deck breakdowns. So thank you so much to them.
And huge shout outs to them, especially for just being so quick on getting the new cards in and letting us build with them as fast as possible.
But yeah. We are going to do 2 draws right now for the giveaway, so keep your eyes on the chat after the first one. I believe you'll have to re-enter. So Hirsch will be in there. He'll let you know what's going on. And with that, we are going to cut to a break. There will be another draw afterwards for your chance to win again. But we'll see you guys in a minute. Thanks for sticking with us. Hope to see you afterwards. everybody, and welcome back to your
Hello,
Thursday
and
night.
the winners are Absolution TV and Monte Cristo. Yeah, we won, Monty.
Oh,
We won
yes!
coins.
We are
We
the
won
real winners. We're
coins.
up here
We
on the
won the
cast.
coins of Riot from Riot Games. Courtesy, all these people entered in chat. We also didn't enter in chat, but we won.
I entered. I'm trying to get some coins.
I didn't.
They're not
I
paying
won
me
anyway.
enough. I need Riot's money too. But the real winners of our first two coin giveaways were Apoxa and GoDaddy. Guys, shoot Aegis Esports GG2 in whichever way your chat is. I don't know which way, but shoot them a message, a DM. Hit them up in the DMs if you want to message in the Discord. I think you can message social media manager PVS, who you can find in the Aegis Esports Discord. But better yet, just go to your chat, open up your chat, click Aegis Esports GG2, and hit that whisper button. Shoot them your info, connect with them. Once again, that's Apoxa and GoDaddy. Congratulations, guys, you've won. And for the rest of you, we have two more.
You're going to want to send them your Riot ID, including the number, the hashtag afterwards, your region you play in, and your Riot email address, I believe, are the three things they need.
I think so. They'll connect with you, though. But for the rest of you, we do have two more giveaways, so be sure to go ahead and type !giveaway to get entered into those. And we will be doing one final giveaway at the end of the stream. Once again, huge shoutouts to Riot for sponsoring this, for giving us some coins to give away, and for putting on a seasonals broadcast that we hope you all tune into on the weekend. It is Saturday, I believe at 11 Eastern, roughly.
Yes.
I could be wrong. I think I'm wrong. But keep tuned in on Saturday. You'll find it. You'll find the broadcasts. Go tune in, show your support, show Riot that we love we love the broadcasts, and that we're really glad that they've reconsidered their decision to axe them. That's something that most of us were rather unhappy with. I want a chance at casting those one day. I can do this. I can cast these. I can cast other events, but I got on Fight Night. That was huge, but it'd be nice to cast a seasonal once.
I'm glad that we just got word from our producers. Monty is being replaced as of right now with nothing to do with the comments he just put out, but for creative difficulties. So someone else will be joining us soon.
Very reasonable reason to replace me. But to bring the focus a little bit back onto the sets at hand, we are going to get into Drizzoth versus... My mind is failing me here. Ace. That's it. Drizzoth versus
Fire
Ace.
Fist.
So we have a Shellfolk not enjoyer, but popularizer up against a treasure trash enjoyer. AM versus EMEA. This is going to be a clash of the regions, and it's going to be a banger set for us to watch. They do have some great decks for us to break down, maybe. I've forgotten which ones.
We are going to be breaking down for you the Jinx Lulu deck of Ace and the Jace Heimer deck of Drizzoth. Starting with Jace Heimer, I will take the lead on this bad boy.
Go for it.
This deck is what only be described as one word, really, and that is hype. Jace and Heimerdinger have an amazing synergy where every time you cast your 6-drop spell with Jace, your Heimerdinger is making you an elusive unit. Hextech Handler is an insanely good card. It's going to allow your text that you play in future turns after you play it, and the ones that are all on board to just get good stats, which makes the Heimerdinger passive insanely strong. And the Adaptatron 3000 is a nice addition to these lists, granting your text just insane shared keywords, and you just kind of clutch up the game. And the Shadows version is definitely the one to go with. You get that bit of sustain with Piercing Darkness and some good removal for those big units with cards like Vengeance.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad you touched on the Hextech Handler and the Adaptatron, because those are really the key pieces of this deck. Yeah, there's Jace. Yeah, there's Heimerdinger. They're kind of there. Heimerdinger is kind of an engine. He does a lot of great stuff, but really it's the Hextech Handler that's the star of the show. Alongside that Adaptatron, like you said, being able to share the keywords and just being able to buff your text out of those ping ranges is such a powerful effect. They also have the production surge here to activate the Hextech Handler and just create that wide board. And then Pharaoh's Financier has the best pulls in this region combination. It can find you Vengeance. It can find you Ruination. It can find you something like a Piercing Darkness for emergency healing. It can find you Burn. It can find you Draw. It does everything and anything and everything. And it's a phenomenal card. This is a great deck. I'm happy to see Drizzoth bringing it. Happy to see it making a reappearance. And hopefully we can get some of these games on stream. Yeah, From the other side, though, Ace has brought something spicy too. Lulu Jinx. This is a deck that's a bit of a blast from the past, and it's pretty much stayed the exact same. It did get some new tools with Boom Baboon ages ago when that came out. Young Witch has been nerfed once again, and that kind of took a little bit of the wind out of its sails. But all in all, this is still a very, very strong deck. Notably, there's no Mystic Shots here, though. That's not something that I'm unsure if that was they were ever in the list. I wasn't a big Lulu Jinx enjoyer myself, but if Manasia or Stolen Contra around in the chat, maybe they can give me some lowdown. Super powerful deck, wants to do Lulu Chomper stuff, wants to do Jinx Rocket stuff. It's very fun, very fast, and I hope to see it explode onto the screen.
Absolutely. I mean, this deck does have that advantage into Jace Heimer of being incredibly fast, right? If these end up going up against each other, the Lulu Jinx deck is just going to be able to put out a really dominant, aggressive pacing that Jace Heimer can really struggle to keep up with. That deck doesn't turn on until turn 3, but if you're fighting into aggro, sometimes it's turn 4, turn 5, because you have to spend your turn 3 developing blockers for things. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup to see.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what these players have lined up for us tonight. As far as bans go, we did get a chance to look at these whole lineups. From the side of Drizzoth, we have Fizzaphelios, the deck that you guys know and love. It's come surging in popularity the past couple weeks since the seasonal open rounds began. And just before that, we have the Echozillion, and then we have the Jace Heimer list that we looked at. From the other side, it is that Bandle Ezreal list that Broken Ball kind of popularized a little bit earlier in the season, featuring 1 Vi, and there's 3 treasure trash in this deck, guys. Ace
That's
loves his
crazy.
treasure trash. I can't wait to see what he does with it, what he hits off of it. There's that Lulu Jinx list that we just had a chance to look at. And of course, there's a pretty typical Pirates list in there. It is featuring 1 double up, which is pretty spicy in my mind, but and a couple Iron Ballistas, which is something that we don't see too often.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool that both players brought 2 really strong decks and 1 really bad deck.
Yep.
Drizzoth bringing the worst deck in the game, Echozillion, and Ace bringing Pyrus, which everyone knows is tier 5 Wood Division nonsense.
So what do we think the bans are going to be here?
I absolutely think that out of respect for the integrity of competition, you ban out the Echozillion and the Pirates list. But in reality, if I'm on the side of Ace, I'm probably going to try to ban out that Aphelios deck. That deck has just got too many ways to do things that win you the game. And I think if I'm Drizzoth, looking at my opponent's lineup here, if we're assuming they're going to ban out the Aphelios, I'm probably taking out... That's tough. I mean, I might just ping off the Ezreal Heimer Vi just out of lack of matchup experience. I don't know how much Drizzoth has played into that list, but I personally would see that. And I'm like, what is that doing? I don't know. I don't want to take the risk of trying to learn it mid-match. And I'm probably just going to ping it off.
Yeah, not a bad insight. Of course, that Aphelios list I agree with. I think it is going to be the ban. Severum is just so powerful when you're into these aggro strategies. It can really flip the game around.
Oh, it's insane.
It's not hard to come by when you're playing an Aphelios deck. And then from Drizzoth's side, maybe we just ban the Lulu Chomper stuff. That can be super problematic for our board-based decks. The other decks we can kind of match up with, we can kind of race. There is a consideration for Ace to go after the Heimer Jace as well. It does have a good bit of healing. And honestly, I could even make an argument for killing the Echozillion. Ace has some 3 good bans across the board in my eyes, but I do think that Aphelios is the highest power level overall, and as such, we'll see that go down.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. The deck's just crazy. Like, I've played against it a couple times, and I really just kind of wonder, like, how do I beat this? What am I supposed to do here? There's so many good things. It really comes down to how effective that attach keyword is at keeping problematic cards in play as viable options.
And congratulations to our winners from the second giveaway.
Monty and Absolution! Yeah, we won again!
The 3rd and 4th giveaway, I should say. Spids was taken. Spids, congratulations, you've won. Please go ahead and message Aegis GG2. And Max Stuff, congratulations to you as well. You've also won. Once again, go ahead and message Aegis Esports GG2, and they'll be sure to set you up with everything that they need to get you those 500 Riot coins. And once again, huge shout out to Runeterra AR for sponsoring the graphics that we just took a look at. They have been such a fantastic website and resource for all your Legends of Runeterra stats and data needs. They're super, super great. Make the deck list really, really easy to parse, really easy for us to show off, and we're really, really grateful to them for
Yeah,
putting
and
everything together.
if you're out there, a player looking for some sneaky decks, I like to hit other regions like APAC, Europe, and hit sort by win rate and look at the decks that have really low play rates but nuts win rates. Sometimes you can find some really crazy like sleeper picks that other regions are playing that are kind of wild. So I definitely love Runeterra AR's sort features. I think they're very fantastic with their data and their tools.
Yeah. And we'll see if these players do get the bans out shortly. And we'll see. Oh, it was the Jace Heimer list
Ooh,
from the side of
interesting.
Ace. I
Interesting.
imagine it's the healing. And looks like you're right, Abso. Drizoth is perfectly content to take out that Bandle Shellfolk. Or sorry, not Shellfolk, Bandle Ezreal.
Yeah,
Saw Shellfolk
honestly,
in the
don't
last
blame
one.
him.
My mind has been melted by it.
Don't blame him at all. That deck is super good. It just does a lot of stuff that you kind of just don't want to deal with. And
Yeah, it
here
really does.
we're gonna be getting game one here pretty soon. What deck are you thinking we're picking on either side here? I mean, if I'm Drizoth, honestly, I kind of want to throw. I feel like I'm going in with Echo Zillion and trusting I can win with Aphelios if I need to.
I think it's a coin flip either way. I mean, there's a chance you just lead with the strongest deck, which in my eyes is Aphelios, but I think you just flip the
I
coin.
agree.
You see what the coin tells you to do, and you do that. Very little reason to go outside of that.
What does the heads mean?
Heads is the deck on the left, tails is the deck on the right.
All right, we're playing Aphelios, guys, and looks like Ace is going to be running it in. I mean, you're essentially Ace is running the same strategy twice, right? That's that's their lineup. So it looks like Ace has taken the Pirates deck here, which again, Pirates actually, if you're a player looking to climb, definitely put your attention focus goggles on right now and pay attention to this game because these decks are going to be are really powerful right now. So if you're trying to get that last minute push, glue your eyes to the screen like physically with a hot glue gun so you can make sure you absorb all the information you see in front of you.
Great, great advice there, Absol. Like you said, these are some of the most powerful decks in the current metagame, so we'll see what these players can do to show them off, and hopefully all of our viewers can learn a thing or two. I know I'll certainly be keeping my eyes peeled to try and pick up any tips and tricks that might come across our screen here, and I'll do my best to shut them out, of course, as well. I myself am a pretty big Echo Zillion player. I'm a pretty big fan of that deck. Been a day one fan, and looking forward to see what Drizoth can do with it.
And I'm a huge fan of the Pike Infinite deck. You know,
there's a Pike Infinite deck.
Yeah, I thought we were naming decks we like that are bad. So I was going with your thing. Is that all we were doing?
I mean, that's a nice way of admitting that you're bad, Absol.
No, I think Echo Zillion is doesn't interact enough for my liking. That's all I'll say.
I mean, that's a good deck, right? Good decks don't interact. They just
I like to interact. That's fun.
Solitaire decks. But
no.
It is Aphelios up on the screen first, up against that Lulu Jinx, and I think this is probably the harder of the two matchups for Drizoth. Lulu Jinx, of course, does have lots of Chompers action, but no Chompers in the hand.
Yeah,
means that Drizoth has got to be feeling pretty comfortable here.
Yeah, the thing is that Aphelios does a really good job, Fizz especially, of keeping himself safe from the counter removal methods of spells. However, Challenger and Vulnerable, just combat, proven to be the most effective way to remove a card because the best type of removal is player removal.
And Drizoth does have that Fizz Papercraft Dragon combo in hand already. Just needs to find the Aphelios and will be setting himself up pretty nicely to close this out.
But we see Ace has what is almost, we're just missing a Flame Chompers from essentially a pretty close to perfect start for this type of deck. You're swinging in very nicely, very safely with your Lulu and your what's it called? It's just Young Witch. Gosh, I forgot her name because she hasn't been here in a while. Oh, but there's the Wallop. Gonna just take that out. Definitely one of the Young Witch is an insanely strong card. It just has to be dealt with. Young Witch at 2 HP was a mistake.
Yeah, Young Witch at 2 HP was definitely a mistake. But the other notable thing about this is that it does stop the quick attack from going onto the Lulu, which potentially lets this 3-1 trade. Drizoth, of course, doesn't know that Jury Rig was available, but it also slows down this Lulu's level up. Turn 4 Lulu level up would have been so powerful.
For sure. However, we
Conch.
do have, it looks like, a second Pix in hand, but Drizoth hits the Aphelios, which is what you really want to see.
Yeah, found the Aphelios. Now has
Ooh.
all the pieces to this combo, and Ace picks up that I suit up. That's what it's
Suit up.
called.
That's the. It's been a while since she's seen play. Don't worry, I understand. Honestly, I may have gone for the suit up onto the picks to ensure I'm getting two support engines out at the board at the same time. Um, I think that's just kind of the strategy I would look to take, is to get this Lulu again flipped as fast as possible.
I think Ace just looking to deal as much damage as possible. Doesn't really care
Mm.
about the Lulu flip at this point. Just wants multiple elusive units to be able to throw down and buff up. Pix comes out here.
Yep, with no removal on the side of Drizoth here. However, it does give Drizoth the chance to, play that Grandfather Fae, get the Owl Cats. Owl Cats, so good.
Yeah,
Guys,
really,
it's like
really strong cards.
crazy strong cards.
Lulu flip gonna come through. Attack gonna come through.
There it
Lots
is.
of damage being represented from the side of Ace.
Yeah, I mean, you have to block, which, if you're Drizoth, right, you're losing some pretty good engine pieces here.
Can't be too happy about this at all.
Definitely not. You're gonna kind of have to redevelop your whole board. However, we do have the Aphelios coming in Nightfall, gives you access to things like, again, that Severum for lifesteal. I wonder what we'll see. Is that a? Oh, it was a grab. I definitely respect that choice here. Probably one of the better control spells from Aphelios' collection that you can grab. It's just great way to handle that elusive unit until you, well, then you hit a Rainbow Fish.
Yeah.
So there it is. So what do you think comes down here now? Do we see the Fizz? Do we see potentially?
I think it's gonna be the Fizz into a Severum. That would be my best guess here. And the Zonite Urchin is going to find a Jury Rig to discard. We'll see what Ace draws off of that.
Very good. Okay, goes for the Owl Cat. I like it here. Just saying, I'm going to develop blockers, right? I'm not here to, Drizoth respecting the power level of his opponent's deck. We do have 2 copies of Guiding Touch in hand as well. So we're looking at a really pretty, we're healthier than we look, right? We're essentially playing at right now, it's a 9 HP, but at 11 HP. So.
Yeah, and Drizoth just looking to survive this next turn so we can get to that Fizz pay for Graph Dragon. At which point, he's going to be in a pretty good spot to win.
Yeah.
Imagine he takes this pass.
For sure. Getting this next turn is really good. Especially with, there's the Gleaming Lantern. You love to see it. You drop that in. You drop in your Papercraft for super cheap. Maybe even pop a Rainbow Fish on something for a blocker if you need it. But very good. Ooh, Augmented Experimenter. That's going to pop the Aphelios.
We do have a Get Excited as well. I wonder if we'll see that thrown out first. Pix picked up, though. And that's going to go on to the Fizz. Drizoth, maybe a slight mistake here.
Right into the open attack. That is a dead Fizz and a very scary turn to be in.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and save himself all this HP and make an attempt to trade off this Lulu as well.
Which it looks like without popping, without trying to pop that Get Excited, you're not gonna get away with it. Oh, and you love to see the gifts from Beyond as well. Again, just kind of good redundancy.
Got to be second to Aphelios too, so even if this one goes down, you're feeling pretty safe here from the side of Drizoth.
Yeah.
Now the Gleaming Lantern comes out, and Calibrum was picked up, so that's going to go ahead and clear off this board a little bit. Get Excited comes down onto that Lantern. No hesitation.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of those remove on site cards for sure. It's insanely powerful here. If I am that Augmented Experimenter is just sitting in hand, does it have to discard 3 to deal damage?
Nope, you can just play it out and it'll do its thing here.
Yep, that's going to be a dead Aphelios, which Drizoth kind of, I think, potentially respecting the fact that his Aphelios can get removed here and just saying, not trying to commit the mana so that you can redevelop another copy of it from your hand.
There's the Calibrum coming out. Experimenter picks up Jinx. Experimenter, Get Excited.
That is scary. I mean, if I'm Drizoth, going for I would want to play the Aphelios down, take my priority turn, buff my Aphelios so that he can't be removed, and try to find a win here.
There's an argument to go after the Flame Chompers as well, but I don't think you need to just yet. You
No,
can
not
take this
yet.
a little bit slower. Really do need to get that rainbow fish down to try
Ooh,
and.
that pale, something you love to see too.
Yeah, it is. This is going to protect our Aphelios here. And now, what do we choose? This might be a Severum angle at this point.
I think it is potential from, or I mean, I don't think. Yeah, no, we don't have lethal presented in hand unless we're. Can we stack him to
No,
9 here? No,
not
yeah,
without the
you take the
Papercraft Dragon. It's
goes for the
another
gravity.
grav.
I mean, I guess just fear of the elusive. No way to deal with it here. Without having to put the rainbow fish down. Oh wait, what was it? Wait, whoa.
Slight misclick. Slight
Yeah,
misclick.
I got a little confused. I was like, wait a minute. And we're gonna phase into, I'm assuming, Crescendum here. It seems like probably the safer option to go for. Play down the, what is that, assistant librarian, and then get the Crescendum out and hope for the best in terms of Oh, we don't get the Crescendum down this turn. I see.
Yeah, unfortunately, Aphelios flipped and lost the progression there.
Yep.
So I think this might spell the end for Drizoth in this
That
spot.
might be it there. That's a very scary situation. A lot of damage on board. No healing. Oh, but that pokey stick could potentially come in clutch if we don't see the open attack.
I can't see a reason not to go for the open attack, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You never know, though. You never know.
Pix is
Yeah.
going to come out
Yep.
onto the librarian. That's going to let the jury rig pull it out of the way. Lulu plus the Jinx are going to come out. Aphelios going to get traded. Oh. Okay. Ace reconsidered. And this should seal the deal. Ace can then go ahead and even play out this suit up if he wants.
It also
Drop the get excited.
It
Or
leaves
might
Drizoth
just
at
even
3.
go for the get excited into the
Experimenter there.
Yeah.
Just says, all right, I'm going to try to take my trade while I have it. Potentially drawing some healing.
Digging for some healing. Really, really digging here. Gleaming Lantern, not what you want to see.
Definitely not. And Ace is 100% showing lethal here. Get excited onto
Get
the next.
excited.
Yep, just lets it go. That is a GG well played moment.
Yeah, only 2 guiding touches in the list from the side of Drizoth. So makes sense that he wouldn't continue to dig since we did see both of those played out. We don't have an action to drop a Conchologist or anything like that. Well played from the side of Ace. Makes a lot of sense that the Lulu Chomper stuff would kind of stomp all over that Aphelios list. We'll see if Drizoth can bring it back in game 2 and 3.
Yeah, and I mean, excuse me, I think that he will, because we're going into Pyrus, right? Pyrus isn't necessarily pulling your units as much as it is trying to burn your Nexus out. And Aphelios is going to do a great job at shutting that strategy down. And Echo Zillion, for as much as I like to dunk on the deck, does have really high HP blockers that are going to trade well into a Pirates deck like that, especially with stuff like and spells you can get access to, like your Hexite crystals. It's just, I feel like we have pretty much 2 really good matchups going into Pirates.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, and this is a great opening hand from the side of Drizoth. I'm curious to see how he plays it out, if he opts to go for the 2-drop into the Lantern, into the Owlcat, or if he just wants to bank mana. His rear guard is going to get traded out by the Yordle Squire.
This is also a very solid opener from Ace, though. We see enough low to the ground units here to where Ace can sort of develop their own board. Grenadiers are great for defensive and offensive turns. Ballista is a fantastic overwhelm unit, and a Butcher. You love to see it.
Yeah, with the Butcher picked up, we might see a little bit of a different line come out of Ace, but nope, just going to go for the maximum tempo play here. Put the most stats on the board as possible into the attack. Pale Cascade going to come out from Drizoth, though, and likely see a block onto the 3-2.
Yeah, keep that alive. It gets you play your Grandfather Fae this turn for free, which is a fantastic development. Your Owlcats and or your Rainbow Fishes get real cheap. Just all in all, one of the cards you want to keep alive in your hand, in your board.
Definitely. We'll see if he opts to go for the Owlcat into the Rainbow Fish or a different line here. There's a couple options. Getting that Aphelios going, not a bad idea either. That Wallop pickup is a really, really good one here as well.
Very strong in this matchup. And we see Ace now getting some of those engine pieces you want to have with that Crackshot Corsair. Wondering if we'll see the Demolitionist into the Butcher here for a pretty okay open attack.
Probably,
Which
but I imagine we'll keep developing even afterwards on the following turn.
oh
With
yeah,
pirates, you only have so many turns to get in your unit based damage, so you really want to
yep,
be getting that. You really want to be developing on those turns. Get your board as wide as you can. Be able to go around the outside. Now, decks like this Aphelios one make things a little bit weird because, well, they're always just as wide as you are, but still,
yep.
with the overwhelm, with the burn damage available to us, we should be looking to be in a pretty decent spot. I like that we're going after the 4-3 here with the demo because if we go after the 1-2, we do risk losing it to a Poke Stick.
Yep.
Something that Drizzot's list is running a full set of.
Yeah, you one of the better cards in Vandal City for sure. From that, honestly, probably one of the better cards from the entire expansion. As the memes say, it's essentially just a Glock. Like it's a point and click. And a card I really just I like seeing more cards like that. I guess I should say. I don't know. It's just a personal thing. I like low to the ground, cheap, reactive cards that I can put on the stack. That's like my favorite thing in the world.
Definitely a really fun thing to have in the game. Here we're going to see Drizzoth go after the Overwhelm unit. And then I imagine we'll see a Wallop come out onto the Gangplank as well.
Yeah.
Just to save as much damage as possible.
Gangplank. Right, especially because Ace is now hitting that Pirates point where you're running out of cards. Not Pirates does not run a lot of draws, especially when you're not running the TF Misfortune versions of the deck. So you end up in this weird position where you have to play as aggressively as possible, and it's very much it always feels, at least from my experience, it's I win by turn 6 or I lose the game.
Yeah, turn 6 is maybe a little bit early, but Pirates can definitely burn out quite quickly. And getting that early damage in is super critical to finding your victory, like we've already talked about. Drizoth was considering maybe going after this Gangplank and just removing it from the field altogether, but decided he couldn't take that damage. Just also wants to save this Gleaming Lantern, does have things to discount still. And here, I would imagine he's looking for the Tasty Fey Folk to see if he can find some more healing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a fantastic card to have.
All of those options were pretty good. Did opt to go for the Blast Cone Seedling.
Which is a card I'm glad is seeing play. I was on release, I was a little worried about it. It seemed a little strange and like kind of a weird pick, but I'm glad it's seeing play. Manifest giving a lot of cards some spotlight that maybe otherwise wouldn't have gotten it. I guess the way I
this
look at
one
it.
of Sentry is going to come up so big for Ace.
Yeah,
going to be able to stop this damage in its tracks. Drizzle stacking everything, even going after that impact. The impact will heal if your unit has lifesteal, but sadly, it's not going to be enough here.
No, that Sentry is going to shut down the heal here, which is actually very, very big for Ace because Ace is still presenting a very powerful board that just demands to be blocked, right? So this gives Drizoth even less leeway to not put units out when that open attack comes in.
I think we have to go for a Gravitum now. Otherwise, it's just going to be dead to an open attack. Nope, actually wants to go for this Conchologist and finds a Stress Defense is rewarded
That's
for it.
Very good. Something you definitely want to see here. It can is one of the few burst speed spells that you can cast on opponents' units. That's like a combat trick. In like a stat adjusting way is what I mean. Try to say, like, think of like sharp sights and stuff. So very good card, very fun. Oh, that's so good. That is
Double
something
up is crazy here.
Love to see. That's so nuts.
It's actually so good. We'll see if Drizoth does opt to go for the stress defense onto this GP here, or if he's going to save it for this potential double up. Maybe decides that it's not worth playing around the 1-up in this position and wants to keep the 6-4 alive. Maybe decides that taking 2 is perfectly fine and would rather just play around more things. It's close. It's a really tough decision to make here, and I don't think either decision is wrong, but we'll see what he opts to do.
Yeah,
I would imagine the rest of this turn involves playing out the Fizz and more Fey cards.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Pulls the Aphelios back, puts the Lantern in just in case something comes down that can kill it. Which I respect
also
for sure.
Plays around your double up a little bit, right? Because you're removing low HP units. And yeah, just hits the okay here, waits to see if maybe there's an answer from the side of Ace if there's more to happen. Ace, perfectly okay to take this.
Yeah,
Wants to wait until there's nothing else from the side of Drizoth to go after this double up, as it can be so easily interfered with.
Very easily stuffed out. It's a very good card, but you have to play you have to play very specifically for it to reach its full potential. And we see that go down. Gonna probably see. I wonder if we see the rainbow fish this turn while we have the high mana, or actually no, we're down to 4. Probably gonna be at bank.
Yeah, I think we're pretty happy banking here.
Yeah. I feel like you're more than unless we see that double up come down. But I feel like if you're a Aphelios, you're more than willing to feel comfortable developing into a Pirates board with even if they have full mana. Not a very and one card in hand. Yeah, you're not afraid of anything really here.
Mm-hmm. And the pass comes through from the side of Drizoth. Grip shot picked up. That might help us push a little bit extra around the outside here. Falios level up going to come through. Severum we're going to get access to that as well.
Very strong. Severum onto this Fizz here is very good. Ooh, interesting pickup with the
Fervor.
Yeah, that Fervor is pretty something you like to see. I don't think we have lethal. Oh, is that ooh, that's sketch. That depending on what we see Drizoth play down here, that minion may just doom them. Double up those what, 4 to face?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Drizoth is always okay here. I don't think there's any point where he is too worried. Just needs to spend mana very sparingly. Doesn't want to risk much. Needs to cycle into that Severum. Might even pick up a second here. And then has the group shot available to disrupt any shenanigans. You can group shot your own units now. That's something that was changed a little while ago. Infernum, Severum picked up. No other sentry from the side of Ace. This is going to be a ton of healing.
Yeah. You slap that on there, and you just swing. Take your HP back, and then the Pirates deck with only 2 cards in hand that's almost game, essentially. I feel like it's a very hard uphill battle for Pirates. You gotta have to have a sequence of insane draws to come back from this position here.
Yeah, this means that the healing can't be blocked whatsoever. The attack from the minion gonna come out as well. Going back up to 15. And Ace actually gonna go for it here. Let's see what they opt to do.
Yeah, I'm really interested here.
Not really a lot of choices. You can go after the minion. You can go after the face, but it's not going to be quite enough. It would need to not be interrupted, and of course we can see that Drizoth has not one but multiple ways of interrupting both these spells.
Yeah,
with both the group shot and the stress defense. You can group shot one and stress defense the other. Of course, you would have to group shot the Noxian Fervor to take that out.
Ace, I think, is just doing the math, trying to figure out if there is a line that they can take. Yep, see the sad portal come out. That's the GG there, and that's gonna be this game here. And yeah, we have a series.
Yeah, Ace knows it's futile. Knows that this unfortunately is going to be the end. But yeah, group shot comes out there. Just gonna go ahead and stop that double up.
And I'm gonna be honest. Game 2 is gonna be tough. Right, we're still having to run Pirates into what is this? Our next list here.
Echo
Zillion. Yeah. Okay, so it might be a little bit easier on the side of Ace if Echo Zillion doesn't. Still looking pretty healthy here. But yeah.
This one is just a matter of playing it out. Ace may be looking for a high roll. If he can find a GP, can potentially get there still, but it's going to be very tough.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, especially since Drizoth can kind of just heal every single turn.
Mm-hmm.
But we're looking at Echo Zillion into Pirates. You're the Echo Zillion expert here. How do you feel about playing that matchup if you're in the position of Ace?
I feel pretty bad if I'm Ace, because I have to worry about Hexite Crystals, I have to worry about Time Bombs, I have to worry about Quicksand, and Drizoth is on 3. So a lot of stuff available to Drizoth to be able to come out ahead in these matchups still.
Yep, Drizoth's going to go there, and that is, that's game.
Mm-hmm.
respect to Ace for playing it out. You know, just says, yeah, let's see what the heart of the cards can send my way.
No treasure trash in Pirates, though. Wrong region,
No.
Ace. You can't top
Yep.
deck it because it's not in your deck.
Yep.
Unfortunately for
No heart
him,
of the cards.
Drizoth takes it, ties it up, makes it 1-1, and takes us to a game 3.
Yeah, this has been a very, very fast series so far. These both players playing faster speed decks. We saw that. What was our game one was
Jinx
Philios.
versus Aphelios.
Yeah, that's right. So that one was incredibly quick. So yeah, I mean we're going into Echo Zillion, which feels more of a combo-y aggressive deck. But the lack of the Aphelios is kind of nice. We could just see potentially just bad predicts, right? Predict being a random mechanic. Sometimes you do just get bad predicts.
Yeah, it happens. It does happen once in a while. Not too often, but it does happen. And this is a really good opening hand from the side of Drizoth. You have the cat, you have the...
That's good.
Wow, this is everything you want and more. But Ace's hand, really strong as well. Does have multiple 1-drops to be able to go with 1-1. Does have 2 drops to follow up. And no predict coming out from Drizoth on turn 1.
Yeah, interesting decision there. I wonder if Drizoth is maybe trying to keep cards in hand. Not sure why you'd want to do that, but could just be going for the slow plays. But we see the Echo and the predict, and we have all 4 predictor activators that we need to have Echo come down leveled up on 4. So I think this is going to be a very, very strong game here. The predict gods already showing us
I'd have taken the Quicksand, to be honest. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was the choice. Because we have token on 4, I definitely lean more towards this Echo. But with the oh my god, that's the Hexite Crystal.
That's nuts. Yeah, I don't even know what you do here if you're Ace.
You cry a little bit. You stop developing, you cry a little bit, and then you hope that you have enough tempo to be able to reset up.
Yeah, I mean, Ace pretty much does. The good news about that is Ace knows, right? So that's why you see that open attack instead of developing another unit. Is the Ace goes, okay, you just drew the crystal. I'm gonna then just take my developments a bit of a slower pace. We do, however, see some double Gangplank in hand isn't awful. You do get Parlay as your jam spell on turn 5. Very passive gameplay from Drizoth. Just I think trying to let Ace burn out of resources before committing, maybe just being afraid to overcommit.
I would have liked to see this Feral Prescience played out at the very least, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Let us know what our next draw is. I get that we're kind of saving it for the Station Archivist here, but it's I don't know. And this is funny, actually. We're gonna be able to double Scrying Sands
into
here.
The drop border. My gosh,
this should level Echo as well if I'm counted correctly. And then that'll give us a free time trick.
Throwing the Echo into the is this potentially just Drizoth going like, well, I'll hit the Echo spell.
Maybe. I don't know why we didn't play the second Scrying Sands there.
Yeah, I mean, this Echo is going to die in this trade. So, I mean, maybe we see the second Scrying Sands now. No? Okay.
No, we're just going to high roll. That's all that's happening here.
All right, yeah, Drizoth going, all right, I'm going to high roll you now. Does it happen? Nope. Hit the drop board, not bad.
Rite of Negation, not a bad pickup either.
Yeah,
Quicksand also pretty reasonable.
Oh, I think Drizoth might be dropping that Feral Prescience this turn, potentially.
Now at this point, you're saving it to combo with the Station Archivist. You want to be looking for your predicts pretty aggressively that way. For your Chrono Breaks. Here, the open attack doesn't get much... The development doesn't get much better.
No.
So I think you're pretty happy to take this open. Is looking for that. Wants to see if they can put something nice on top.
Voice of the Risen. That is definitely a nice pull.
Yeah, Station Archivist is going to come out dig anyways. I don't know. I really think we should have gone for the second Scrying Sands last turn. Kept the Echo alive.
I agree. That was free. The thing is that Echo's giving you a free time trick every time he strikes. And into Pirates, that Echo is most likely not getting removed, ever. So I think it's just worth it to try to keep it alive there.
And now we are going to see this Scrying Sands just go to waste.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, this is some strange lines from my that I'm seeing here. Like, I'm not against them. I just am struggling to find out the reasoning for them. The
Yeah,
decimate gonna
especially
get
because
snuck out under the right of negation as well. And now we're just letting this free card off the scrying sands go to waste. Again, not making use of our ability. Oh, I guess we did pick that voice and we don't really wanna.
that's
Okay,
true. That's true. You don't want to
that's
get rid of
true.
that voice.
That's true.
And we do see Ace kind of getting to that point again with Pirates where we're running out of stuff.
And
GP is
now
at what point? How close to level?
I think he's at 2, maybe
Okay,
3.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Most of the
he's
time he
not doing
doesn't
much
level in
here.
this deck.
GP's
And
dying is
experience.
what he's doing.
Yeah, that Voice of the Risen is very good. Uh, I very slept on card for a lot of its lifespan, but now finally seeing some play.
Yeah, the single attack going to come through. Ace recognizing that he's now on the defense and needs to
Yep.
save some blockers, or he's going to lose rather quickly.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for Ace, right? Unlike last game, this isn't a situation where Drizzt has an entire hand advantage. We see like 2 cards up on him, or on them, which is pretty good because that now both players are playing essentially a top deck game, and Pirates can sometimes just win that game.
And it very much can. We have seen one decimate come out already, so odds of that are falling a little bit lower, but we do, of course, have that extra fast speed decimate in the double up. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
Drizzt has the right of
Yep.
negation available, not feeling too worried about that. Is maybe now considering using the scrying sands just to keep HP high on this drop order, but I think we're okay. I think we're chilling.
Yeah, I definitely agree here.
The one argument to scrying sands is if we find a chrono shift and we can drop it immediately, we're very happy. But
Oh
now,
yeah.
full swing open attack going to come out. 2 scrying sands available means that this GP is just going to die to whatever unit it tries to block.
Yeah, this might be a game here. This might just be the end of the set.
One off lethal. No mystic
Yep.
shots in the side of from the side of Drizzt.
However, I do think. Oh,
What?
interesting. This is so weird.
I don't understand this. Why are we? What are we saving these scrying sands for?
I don't know. In the GP levels, it's still going to die, which feels bad, man. Because that would have been an amazing unit to have
That
out.
is the final GP from the side of
Oh,
Ace as well.
that's
So,
not good.
okay, I think I can rationalize saving these scrying sands. The only way we're losing here is like through nonsense with like Zap getting in
Mm-hmm.
a bunch, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to actually push any more damage. We just need one. That's all we need. We're very happy if one damage gets through. And to do that, all we need to do is stay wider. So we're going
I
to save the
see.
scrying sands to keep ourselves from dying because we don't have quicksands or anything like that. And then we're just going to stay wider and be able to push with a wider board and be very
Yeah,
happy.
just play it out kind of safely, which it definitely looks like it's working here. And there's another Voice of the Risen.
Or Chrono Break.
Yeah, one of the two.
Almost
Yep.
certainly Chrono Break, yeah.
Now, if yeah, you just full block that. If you
Yep.
only swing with the zap, which I fully respect here. Oh no,
Okay,
okay,
gonna
yeah,
go ahead
just
and
a full commit.
trade everything out.
Which
And if you're Drizzt, you just make these trade downs and you Chrono Break, and you're a very happy man.
yes, and I think potentially Ace is trying to acknowledge and respect that potential play coming out. So I do like the pullback on the 2/3, going okay. Chrono Break comes out. It's not much, but it's something. I can still use this the Noxian Fervor in my hand to save my. Wait, does that save? I don't think it does. No, there's not enough
No.
units.
Yeah, we are dead. Very well played by
Yep.
Drizzt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Made me question what he was doing a couple times, but shows that he knows what he's doing,
Yeah,
and
ultimately, I
that
mean, hey,
I'm the goof.
what
So
am I has proven that slow and steady does in fact win the race.
Ace gonna go ahead and fervor his own Nexus.
Yep.
Says, "Nope, I'm not gonna give you the
Yep.
satisfaction. I
Yeah,
am
I've done it.
killing
I've been there.
myself."
I've been there before. Love to see it. Good games all around here. I'm gonna check. It seems like we're getting some other match reports here. Uh, oh no, that's just Drazoth and Ace reporting
Yep.
their scores.
We are going to try and get into Ninja Duelist versus Cup, and we do just want to go ahead and remind everybody to hit exclamation mark giveaway in the chat. Type that out. Be entered for your chance to win 500 more Riot coins. This is our last and final giveaway. It will be running as soon as this series is over. And again, thank you very much to Riot for sponsoring this stream and giving us some coins to give out to all of our lovely viewers. And thank you all so much to all of our lovely viewers for coming out and supporting us and watching the stream. I know there's a lot of other options out there right now, and it really does mean a lot to see you all in here supporting the competitive scene with
there's not that many other options, because like this is the best stream on, because me and you aren't also streaming. So like really, what else are you gonna want to watch?
I mean, Aikado's on, and Roji, and Jason Station.
I don't want to watch. Okay, Roji's hype. Okay, no, stop citing the stops. Who are those people? No one knows. Who are they?
There's a lot of stream. Panda's online too. There's a lot of LoR streamers right now. Is that? Puffball Panda? You don't know Puffball Panda? She's cool.
This is Aegis Esports. Anyone have esports in their name? No, this is top level gameplay. If you're trying to master your Runeterra, okay? If you're trying to learn how to properly be a gamer who is mastering Runeterra, you're watching Aegis Esports. We have been informed that Ninja 2-1 Cup.
Yep. Thank you, Absol. So yeah, that's gonna do it for us tonight. But we're gonna stick around for a little bit while the broadcast catches up, so that way we can give you guys an announcement on who that final giveaway winner is. Absolutely, do you want to take this time and maybe talk a little bit about the cards we saw today? What do you think of the Bard package?
Let's talk about the Bard package. You know what? Hold on. Let me just. I'll be right back.
What do you mean you'll be right back? Come on, where are you going?
Hold on.
That's okay, guys. It's all right. It's all right. I'll talk. I got it. It's fine. So we got Bard, not actually, but we did get maybe what his original form is, which is that weird elusive O2 thing. That thing is like freaky looking. And it's made entirely up of chimes by the look of it. That's a pretty cool card. I think that's a reasonably strong one. The 1-drop though, seems really strong to me. It seems like a better Omen Hawk, like an unnerved Inspiring Mentor. Maybe I'm missing my mark with it, but I'm a big fan of the Boons archetype. Absol, what are you doing, bro?
I just think that Jhin is the coolest thing we've had all the whole time.
Yo, it's Bard! Bard showed up! He left Runeterra and he came to Earth.
How's the Epic Sax guy song go? What's up? It's your boy Bard. Here.
What?
Tell you guys that I'm going to be the most broken card in the game.
Probably. Your champions tend to be.
I'm going to let you put traps in your own deck. It seems like they're going to buff things, but what you didn't realize that every time, if I'm out, if you behold me, every time you buff a card in your hand, you nerf a card in your opponent's hand.
Ooh, yeah, that would be some crazy design. I'm here for that.
I actually, though, in all honesty, I feel like Bard is hopefully going to make use of the immobile keyword, because Bard's ultimate in League of Legends does stasis.
True.
We may see stasis statues with Bard, or potentially, like it could be essentially the what's the card? The board wipe, the Freljord board wipe.
Avalanche, Ice Shard,
the one that puts
Ice
them
Quake.
all in.
In
boxes.
Buried in Ice.
We could see Bard have his champ still be a version of Buried in Ice, but with stasis statues.
That'd be kind of cool. We already have that with Servitude of Desolation. But
what if Bard can stasis your Nexus? Because he can stasis turrets in League.
I can't take damage until your next attack round.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be kind of cool. It would also fit Bard's design too, because Bard is a support. That's interesting. Oh, now I'm excited. I was excited already because I love whenever card games take archetypes that already exist and then make you play them in weird ways, like self traps. So, what do you think? Oh, sorry.
I don't know. I was gonna say, what do you think Bard's origin keyword is? Like,
dude, I have no idea. I really think I think the one that makes the most sense is you can run any card that plants traps. I feel like would be probably the best origin. I just don't know if that's enough cards for him to have like enough region diversity, because Jhin has a lot of different things he can pull from for followers.
Really does. I think it might be support units. I think
That'd be
maybe we just
cool.
unlock the support archetype. That'd be pretty cool.
That would make
Uh,
that would make that archetype nuts.
yeah, because that archetype is like kind of poo, to be honest. It's kind of bad,
Yeah.
but there's some good support units out there. And if you could just
Yeah.
pick like a good main region and then
Yeah.
sprinkle in all the support units, you're looking at a pretty strong archetype, I think.
Dude, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
I will say though, I think that Mystic Vortex is really good. Um, it's we already know how good Preservarium is, so Mystic Vortex not only giving you countdown 2, draw 1 for the same cost, but also anytime it's summoned or counts down, you plant 3 chimes in your deck.
Yeah, so you get 9 chimes on random cards in your deck. I don't know, because like there's no guarantee that it's kind of gonna come out and like buff stuff up, and there's no guarantee that when it does come out, you have cards in your hand to be buffed up. I think that it could be strong, but I'm a little bit skeptical of that one.
When I think about the decks that want to run that card, to me, it's like Malphite probably runs it because it's card draw and it's a landmark and it's gonna potentially help you buff like your big boys. I feel like Malphite likes it. I feel like Bard probably levels up off of chimes, most likely. So I feel like Bard's definitely gonna run it. And it depends though. If there is a way to adjust like where your chimes fall, that card's kind of crazy. But I think just 2 mana for a draw one, even on a delay, is not bad.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not the worst card
I like it a lot.
that we've seen. I'm pretty big on all of the cards today, and I do hope that Bard has some powerful stuff. I really like the Tellstones, though. I'm a big fan of their design, and I like that the devs were saying that one of the levers they might use to adjust the cards in future is changing what's in the Tellstones. I think
really
that's
cool.
like super, super cool, and I think that's really heads up. And I think that it gives them a lot of room to change them to make them viable in different metas. And I think the fact that they're open to that is like it's great. Like that speaks volumes about the devs team's dedication to like having a balanced game going forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's completely huge. So this is also for anyone who doesn't know this. I believe this is our first ever. 1 second. This is our first ever real cycle, right? Because in other card games like Magic, you'll get what's called a cycle, which is where they release the same type of card or a similar card across the different colors or regions. And so we're getting that now, which is really cool. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the future with that concept. I think Tellstones are nuts. I think that ultimately, like a lot of them are really good. The Demacian one is crazy. I think the Demacian one's pretty good. What else is there? I actually think Bilgewater Tellstone is pretty good.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
It's really good because Bilgewater has a lot of one-drop generation stuff, and like Chum the Waters is a card that is not fantastic, but when you generate it, it's really good.
Yeah.
And Playful Trickster is another card that is not fantastic, super underrated in my opinion. I think it's a much stronger card than people give it credit for, but it is a fantastic champion spell for Fizz. So like think about all the times that you have extra mana lying around in those end stages of the game. You play a Burblefish, you get a Telestone, you have a rally all of a sudden. That's nuts. And then the last one is More Powder, which is like, but it has its uses. It does have its uses. Sometimes it's just like, extra burn damage, right? You cast it before a Pokestick, and now your Pokestick's dealing 3. And that's pretty hype.
For anyone who thinks that Bilgewater Tellstone is bad, I'm going to play out a situation in your mind for you real quick. You're playing into Scouts, okay? Your opponent swings in with that MF, and they then use their Tellstone to make a Playful Trickster that they didn't have the main deck. Or they make a Chum the Water so they can deny you good blockers and put out a big unit. Pirates also probably going to want to play this card to some extent because it gives you let's say a 5/1 with Overwhelm or a 4/1, 4/2 Overwhelm. Chum the Waters is vulnerable.
5/2.
I don't know. Vulnerable is just a crazy keyword to give out, and then you're pulling stuff and you're killing stuff. I don't know. I just think that Bilgewater Tellstone is really good. I think Vandal's kind of mid.
So I was thinking about the Vandal one, and at first I thought it was also kind of mid. But the more I thought about it, and once I realized that it's not Heroic Charge, it's Heroic Refrain, which is actually a good card. It's the 3 mana, give something +2/+1, give 2 things +2/+1. That's actually a good card. I thought it was the other one, which is the Heroic Charge that stuns something, and if it's or strikes something, and if it doesn't die, stuns it. I don't know. The card's unplayable. But once I realized it was a playable card, and then I thought about Keeper's Verdict, and I thought about how bad Keeper's Verdict is main deck, but again, how good it is situationally. And then their final option was what?
Yordle Contraption.
Oh yeah, even
I
that
don't
one, like
think you're ever taking that, to be
you're
honest.
turning
Actually,
one
destroy.
card into
Yeah,
two,
destroy a landmark
technically.
is never bad too. Like, or
Yeah,
that's you can use that. But I when you put it in that way, where you're thinking about it as essentially your main decking heroic refrain, except you have the option if you wanted to get a keeper's verdict. I think that's pretty good.
yeah, and like you said, Yordle Contraption is like mid, but it's it has its moments and it can still go positive in
Yeah,
card advantage because you can
it
use it
does.
for that generate two multi-region things. And while we were chit-chatting about the new cards, the draw was done, the giveaway was decided. Simon CZBG, congratulations, you are the winner of
Congrats.
500 Riot coins. Please reach out to Aegis Esports GG2 on Twitch, shoot them a DM, and they will be more than happy to get you set
DM
up
them.
with those Riot coins.
Get you set up with Riot coins.
And while we're at it, just before we wrap up, we do have some playoff qualifications locked from the EMEA Shard tournament.
Locked in.
LoR France has secured their way to the top cut, as has REO. Congratulations to those guys. REO guys, some real grinders. A lot of them are playing in this AM Shard tournament as well, and I see them in every single tournament I play. They are some real grinders. They really came out to play, and I'm happy to see that they've locked their playoff spot.
Je suis gaming.
And from the AM Shard, this tournament that we're watching today, we have Runeterra Tennis Academy, VGD from my own group. Big shout outs to them.
15 love.
They're probably the most improved team out of the from the last season to this one. They really showed up this time. And
Blood
the
Trail.
last team to have locked the playoff spot, Productions, to bail me out here one more time. Blood Trail Gaming, that's Arax, Shalu, and a whole bunch of other gamers.
Only
Those guys are
trail they
gamers
leave
too.
in is their opponent's blood.
Yeah. So congratulations to those three teams. Again, that's Runeterra Tennis Academy, Blood Trail Gaming, and VGD. Huge ups to them for securing their playoff spots. But I think with that,
D stands for demigods, video game demigods, because they're nuts, because they won.
True. Absol, do you have anything to add before we sign off for the night and thank all
I
of
have
our lovely
exactly
viewers?
one thing to add. I want to make it known to the world. I still do not have a fist bump card back.
Bro, Riot, help this man. Help this man out.
Please, God, help me. I just need it. At this point, if I don't get it, I'm gonna lose everything. I have a lot of money I owe to a lot of scary people. All right.
You already lost your mind, though. What else is there to lose?
My cash flow.
True.
The bag.
True.
I got my mind back already. I can't lose it again. Y'all don't want to see me go down the Riddler arc, okay? Don't push me there. I'll have the worst riddles you'll ever heard of.
Damn. I'm really not looking forward to that.
No, you shouldn't. I'm not either. I can't make up riddles. I'm not smart. I'm dumb.
Well, I might disagree with you on that one. I think you're pretty smart at making some banger content, my friend. But yeah, that is going to be it from us tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Aegis League America's Shard tournament series and coming out to support the LoR competitive scene. We do appreciate all of you being here, and we hope to see you back again tomorrow for the EMEA broadcast. I'll be back. I will. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the EMEA gamers have in store for us tomorrow. This is a bit of an off season, so we might see a little bit some more fun decks if players have already locked in their playoff spot, like REO, like LoR France. So maybe we'll get to see some of that. But yeah, that's going to be it from us tonight. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Thank you to Riot. Thank you to Runeterra AR. And we'll catch you guys later.
I won't catch you. I'm not strong enough. But we will see you guys later.
I mean, look at me on a twig. I don't think I can do that. Don't jump.
Yeah, please don't do it. We're not grappler guys.
Absolutely.